medical supplements in British Columbia are automatically disappearing, automatically, based on policies. Why would they disappear? A disability doesn't go away. We're going to be talking about that next on the PWD Allies podcast. Stay tuned.
PWD Allies, the best disability podcast in Canada. Starring your hosts, Brent Frain. And as always, his producer and editor, Neil Matheson.
In British Columbia, the supplements that people get for persons with disabilities in the province of British Columbia are ones that you apply for, and you have to get medical documentation in order to get those supplements. They're not automatically added onto your monthly check, and you have to have medical, documentation to back up those conditions. There's numerous amount of different supplements you can apply for. It doesn't mean that you get them automatically. They have to be medically assessed automatically by a medical practitioner, your GP, specialist, you name it. One of them can sign off on it as long as they know your medical history. They have to diagnose you with those conditions. You can't just say, I want a vitamin supplement or a nutritional supplement. You have to have the conditions to match what that terminology is. So joining me today is Sonia, and is going to be talking about the ordeal that she's gone through, and she can tell you the story of what has happened, and we'll start right from the beginning, Sonia. Sonia, thanks for joining me today on the PWD Allies podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good morning.
So
Sonia,
maybe start by telling everybody who you are, because we don't know who you are.
Yeah. Who are you, Sonia?
My name is Sonia, and I'm a disability advocate.
Mm-hmm. And you're from Victoria, BC here?
Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just I want to be here.
I'm just having fun with you guys.
And Neil's joining us from Surrey, BC. Nice sunny day here in Victoria. So Sonia, what's going on with these supplements? Why are they disappearing? And well, first of all, I guess that would be the first question, but tell us the story of when you got your supplement and what's happening.
Well, the thing is, I didn't get my supplement.
Oh, well, that's the thing.
No, but for how long have you been getting your supplement?
Oh,
though?
I've had it for many years. I can't even recall when that is. I think it was in early 2000s or late 90s. I got it.
Late 1990s, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
And it was $35 at the time, and that was a lot of money back then. Right?
So over 2 decades. So 1999, we're in 2026. So 27 years you've had the supplements, and so what happened? Well,
and we should say it's a dietary supplement, right? For her diabetes.
Yeah. Actually, no, wait. So I got diagnosed in. Hang on. I got diagnosed with diabetes in 2009. So yeah, it would have been 2009 that I would have received the supplement.
Okay.
Sorry.
In 2009. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 17 years or so.
17 years. You've had this supplement automatically on your check. Your GP at the time had diagnosed you, and diabetes doesn't go away. Like pink.
According to the government, it does though.
Yeah. So automatically you were getting it $35 a month added to your monthly check from the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Escalation. So when that amount was on, the government had changed it, I think about 3 years ago. I know they increased it from $35 to $60. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so when they increased that amount, nothing has changed, just the amount that they increased it because, the cost of everything keeps going up. So that supplement is added on. And again, to our viewers and listeners, the government increased that supplement amount from 35 to 60. That's just that base supplement. There's other supplements that are a lot larger than that amount, but you have to have the condition in order to get that. So if you want a vitamin supplement, like I said on the beginning of the show here, you have to have the condition. You can't just say, well, I want a vitamin supplement. And, it's like going to the grocery store or pharmacy and picking it off the shelf. Well, those are vitamins. Well, in order to have the condition with the government, you have to apply for that and be medically assessed, designated, assessed by a
pre-approved by a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not easy to get. And so, Sonia, so you're grandfathered in to that supplement. So what happened? What happened recently?
So on Wednesday, we got our disability checks, and I looked, and I usually get 1,500, 1,580, 15 something anyway, with the supplement. And then I looked, and it was 1,483.50, the old amount, and I'm like, okay, something's gone missing here. So I figured it was $60 that was taken off, and right away I had a feeling it was a supplement. So of course it was on that day, the busiest day of the month for that ministry, right? So I get on the phone, and I waited all day long on the phone. Every 2 hours they hung up on me every 2 hours intervals. So I was on the phone all day from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And so I started again on Thursday morning, right at 9 o'clock. And the wait time said, 11 minutes or 2 minutes. So I waited exactly 11 after I got a hold of a worker, which was great. And she was really nice, and she helped me out. And so I said, why is my supplement gone? And she says, it's gone because it needs to be renewed every 2 years. And I said, well, when did they start? I've had my supplements since forever. And she said, I know, I see that. And then, but just recently they changed it to, in 2022, apparently, they changed it to every 2 years that you need to reapply and get your doctor to sign off on it, or dietitian or practitioner, nurse practitioner, or somebody. And yeah.
A new policy change. A new policy change.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I didn't know it was going to be gone missing off my check. I was expecting it to be there, like always. Yeah. And I said, so now what? I said, would I be able to qualify for a crisis supplement, because I was expecting my check and it never came in. She goes, yes, you do, because you were expecting it and it never showed up. Then yes, that requires it's a pre-existing problem.
So if you had expected it to be withdrawn or clawed back off your check, would you not get that supplement then? Your crisis $50 food supplement?
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. So now, in other words, if you know that it's going to happen, you don't get a crisis supplement. But since you didn't know, they're going to give it to you. And so the worker basically asked you, like, you didn't know, so they're going to basically say you qualify for a 1 month supplement of $50.
It's only because the government kept a secret.
And not only that,
it's because the government kept a secret that you qualify. But we're used to government keeping secrets with this government, right, Brent?
Yeah,
we're used to them keeping secrets. And
but not only that, she said, how would you like your money sent to you? And would you like it sent through mail or direct deposit? And I said, okay, well, how about direct deposit? And she said that, okay, you might be able to get it by the latest Friday, if not Monday or Tuesday. So now I'm short like $10 because of this whole thing.
Yeah, so instead of them giving you $60, they're willing to give you $50 only because you didn't know that they were going to claw it off. And they changed a policy in 2022, apparently, according to
didn't tell anybody.
Surprise! Yeah, it's a surprise. So
unicorn.
And then of course, if and here's the thing, everybody, if she knew that they were going to claw that off and have to reapply every 2 years, she wouldn't qualify for a $50 crisis supplement. But since the government surprisingly did it, here's $50, but you have to wait. Now she's short $10.
And the stupid thing is, Brent, is they knew that they had done this back in 2022, right?
But here's the kicker.
So they've known for 4 years, but they didn't tell anybody about it.
But here's the
No,
thing. So Sonia's going to
that's
tell you.
wrong.
Sonia's going to tell you the story next, the 2022 versus what her doctor said to her on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So Sonia, so you got a hold of your doctor.
Thank goodness, because he normally is very busy, and I was able to actually get my hold of my doctors that same day, later in the afternoon. Thank goodness. And he told me he hasn't seen that form in more than 20 years.
In more than
I'm
20
like,
years,
what?
everybody. And so when you mentioned to him about the 2022 that the government changed their policy, so-called policy, what did he say?
I can't recall what he said.
You know,
Might
yeah, it was just about like he hadn't filled that form out in
Oh,
over
yeah.
20 years. And like he has other patients that have different medical conditions that are on disability assistance in the province of BC. So the doctor would know in 2022, like he hasn't filled the form out in over 20 years. So what does that tell you, folks? He hasn't filled the form out in over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has patients already with pre-existing conditions that qualify for these supplements based on their medical condition. So a doctor's now saying that I haven't seen these, I haven't filled any form out. So then now the government trying to say that they changed policy in 2022. I call that BS. Because if a doctor hasn't, the doctor would know if he had to fill out a form in 2022 to see if, have to reapply to see
Well,
if.
why do you need to even reapply, Brent? If it's a
Exactly.
stable condition, if it's a lifelong stable condition,
Yeah.
why do you even need to reapply?
Well,
anything?
exactly, and you don't need to. You don't need to reapply, and that's the part I need.
Is my cerebral palsy just going to magically vanish, and all of a sudden they're going to say, "Well, gee, Neil, your CP must be gone, so we're gonna cut you off of PWD for a couple months because we think your CP is gone now."
Yeah, exactly. That's like
Same thing. It's stupid.
It's just like my medical conditions too. Oh, they just magically disappeared. Oh yeah, you need to reapply.
Every 2 years they go away, and you have to reapply and prove that they're still there.
Does type 1 diabetes go away? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't go away. And the doctor was very, very upset, to say the least.
And not only that, he had to go and search for the form that they were talking about.
Yeah, he had.
And he couldn't find it, and he took me another day for him to send me the form.
He had difficulty.
I just got it today.
Yeah. Yeah, the doctor had difficulty finding the form. I mean, doctors are very busy. They don't have a lot of time to basically start going and filling out forms again, but to basically re-diagnose a condition that you have had since birth. I mean, my gosh. I mean, it wasn't medically, obviously, diagnosed your one condition until much later in life. But your other underlying conditions, I mean, you've had from birth. I mean, and the government deciding, oh well, we're going to save a few bucks on the back of the disabled people. I mean, how pathetic is that? I mean, like really, like go after the top CEOs, go after your corporate management, start cutting from costs, stop wasting money on bureaucratic BS. Because I mean, going after,
but they're not even going to be saving any money, Brent, because all of the conditions are stable anyway. So what money are they going to save? They're only going to inconvenience doctors, and they're going to waste time of their own ministry staff. They're going to waste time for that.
Well,
so they're only wasting their own time and doctors' time.
Yeah, they're not saving very much money at all.
No. They're just paying their staff to basically.
They're actually wasting money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're paying for things that they don't need to pay for.
Yeah, I mean, and Sonia, so how did this how has this affected you, like emotionally, physically, etc. When you found out that $60 wasn't in your account?
I was so upset. My anxiety went through the roof, and I was just thinking, well, great, and being on the phone all day, not able to go out and go for my walks or anything. My blood
sugar. Talk about that. How long were you on the phone?
The whole day.
Yeah.
My blood sugars were through the roof because I wasn't able to go out anywhere, to move around or anything. And
the first time you were on the phone for, what was it, 3 hours, and then they cut you off?
I was on from 10 till.
That's happened to me before too.
12:30, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to 10 to like 12:38, and then
And
the
then
phone cut her off, and then she called back again at 1 o'clock
the 3
till 3, and then the
cut
phone
me
cut
off.
her off right at 2 hours on the dot. Meanwhile, it said the wait time was over 2 hours. The wait time was over 2 hours. They cut her off at 2 hours, and
Yeah.
then the next time she called in again, get this, everyone, 2 hours and 48 minutes, and she called back at 3. Their
Yeah.
office closes to clients at 4. Their administration is in the office till 4:30. So calculating that time,
Oh, I get this. I told the worker that Brent and I went to see the minister, and
Mhm.
along with another person, and she told us to go down to the ministry office and go and apply for a monthly crisis supplement every month.
Yeah. Sheila Malcolmson told
Yeah,
you
she
to do
said
this,
no,
right?
she said no questions asked.
Yeah.
Go down there and they'll give it to you every month.
automatically.
So we went down there and asked for it, and
Yeah.
sorry, you have to have a pre-existing problem, and
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
going to qualify for it.
Yeah.
So Sheila Malcolmson gave misinformation,
Yep.
which
And
isn't cool.
the lady apologized on her behalf for me, and I thought
Yeah.
that was very, very nice of her. And yeah, they shouldn't be misleading other us people, clients like that. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look on the government for sure, especially on the ministry, where people are living well below the poverty level in British Columbia and across Canada. I mean, there should be a standard of living. If a minister is telling the clients, PWD clients in BC, to go to their local ministry office to apply for a $50 once a month crisis supplement, no questions asked. You don't have to give an explanation. And the minister even admitted that yeah, the government needs to do better. They need to do more. It's not a lot of money, but she said it'll help. So we tested that theory out and went there, and the worker said, "No, why at the counter? Why are you asking for a supplement? I mean, is it something that you were unexpecting to happen?" I said, "Well, it's just not enough money on our checks to get by the buying power." Right. So you knew that you weren't going to be getting enough. So that's already a pre-existing problem. So you don't
Yeah.
qualify. I go, "Well, the minister told us to come here." Well, the minister lied. That's what came from a worker. The worker said,
Yeah.
the minister lied, is misleading, and that is wrong. And when Sonia found that out over the phone, when she didn't get her supplement, her dietary supplement, the same thing. The worker said, "No, that is a lie. That's misleading," like Sonia just said. The minister should not be telling clients to go and do that. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount should be on everybody's monthly check automatically. And if they need a nutritional supplement, they need a vitamin supplement, whatever it is, they can go
And it's doctor approved. Again, we have to say it's doctor approved.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And
let's remind the listeners that here in BC, I mean, for example, we have Ontario. We know that they index to inflation on for their disability in Ontario.
yeah,
It's indexed to inflation. It's never been indexed to inflation here in BC. And let's remind people that from 2020 to 2026, how much has the PWD income assistance gone up in 6 years? From 2020 to 2026, how much has it gone up, Brent?
8 cents.
8 cents. 8 cents in 6 years. It's gone up 8 cents. No index to inflation. It's gone up 8 cents in 6 years.
Yeah, it was like 0.42, and then and magically it went up by 8 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like about 3 years ago. I believe. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. It went up. And why I know, I mean, that's when people think 8 cents. Well, I mean, I went to go and check my direct deposit one day, and I was like, and I watch every single penny. And I was looking, I go, 8 cents. Well, what is this? So it's round up to 50.50. Oh, okay. And that wasn't indexed to inflation. I think it was obviously a miscalculation on the ministry's behalf. They figure out nobody's going to notice this. Like, we'll just put 8 cents on. It's like, oh, nobody's going to notice us clawing
It's
off.
an increase. It's an
Yeah.
increase of 8 cents.
Yeah. So we're going to give you 8 cents, but then we're going to claw off a supplement that you've been medically assessed and approved for. But we're going to claw that off and make you reapply. It reminds me of a time way back when the Liberals were in power, they started going to try to reassess people with disabilities to see if they were still disabled, to try to save a few bucks, and it backfired on them. And it was like deja vu what Sonia has just gone through.
Well, they're doing it this way instead of that way.
Yeah, exactly. And just to see if you're still disabled enough to receive disability assistance. I mean, really, like the government is now, they're hurting people with disabilities. They're going after the people that can at least afford it the most. I mean, go after the high.
They're making MAID really easy to access, though. If you want MAID, that's super easy to access now.
Yeah, I know, and
That's Billy.
Yeah, it's really pathetic because the government should be providing no less than poverty level financial support. And I mean,
if you want to kill yourself, line up here.
Yeah, I mean, even the BC Green Party was calling for $2,400 minimum. I mean, is that enough? No, it should be a lot more. But they were calling for it. But I guess the BC NDP did not like that idea. Those were one of the recommendations. The current BC Greens, the previous BC Green leader, Sonia Furstenau, ran with that in her platform, $2,400. But the current government, no, they do not want to. They just do not want to go there on that. You're supposed to.
Bet you in the next election, nobody's going to run on anything for us at all next time around.
Oh, exactly. Well, the BC NDP, they ran on.
Nobody wants to deal with poverty. That's why.
That's right. Exactly. I remember a minister said that right in the BC legislature. Nobody wants to deal with poverty.
Well, David Eby's too busy giving away the whole province, so
and that goes through all of Canada too, and not one province is doing anything good for people with disabilities at all.
Yeah, not one premier is stepping up and actually saying we're going to take the lead and we're going to be the leader and we're going to eliminate poverty. I mean, you can do it. I mean, it really comes down to policies and just that responsibility of taking care of your citizens. And I mean, when we talked about seniors that one day, we did that one podcast, Neil. Difference between seniors and people with disabilities. Now, seniors, I mean, they have disabilities, so. I noticed that a lot of the media and a lot of the politicians, they keep talking about seniors, but not people with disabilities. Well, seniors have disabilities. Now, the population is growing more and more. I mean, huge amount of people that are not seniors, but they're getting more disabilities as life goes on. That needs to change. There were the people who are in power in the legislatures across Canada and in British Columbia, I mean, need to focus on taking care of their citizens. I mean, we are citizens. Last time I checked, my ID says I'm a citizen of British Columbia. I'm a citizen of Canada. I mean, show some respect and dignity for persons with disabilities. I mean, don't start clawing off the supplement. It really just pisses me off that they're clawing off a supplement that you are supposed to be getting. But we want to balance our budget on the back of the disabled. I mean.
On a slightly different note too, but an important one. Just a couple days ago, I frequent the BC Disability Caucus page quite a bit, the Facebook page, and somebody had posted about cerebral palsy, and of course that pricked my ear because I have cerebral palsy, and they said, that cerebral palsy is always kind of referred to as a non-progressive disease or disability, that it doesn't really progress or get worse, and somebody kind of pushed back on that and says, well, as you age, if you've kind of beaten up your body when you were young, which I did,
you pushed it to the max.
I pushed it to the limit, like every day that I could. I pushed it, and let me tell you, right around the time I turned 50, my body let me know it. It kind of said, well, you pushed your body too hard, and now you're paying the price, Neil. Because I'm telling you, as soon as I turned 50, I could tell my body is just like, you overdid it, Neil. You shouldn't have, and it's true. Like, cerebral palsy is not progressive in the truest sense, but if you were somebody like me that really pushed their body when you were young, I'll tell you, when you get old, you feel it. You feel it.
Oh, absolutely. Conditions don't get better over time. They just amplify and either plateau to a stage in life for a while, and they will either basically stay at a flat level, or they're going to progress. And usually they progress, right? Person may luck out, luck of the draw. They may not show any symptoms of their condition of progressing over the short period of time. Long term, yes, it will progress. I know. I went through that with my mom. God rest her soul. Different conditions started appearing later in life. She was active. She rode her bicycle all the way until she was 79 years old. She was in a seniors home. She asked me one day if she could ride a bike. So I actually had to ask the seniors home if I could take her out. She wanted to ride a bike. Ride a bike. And my mom was in that mode of her condition where she was in a I get the right terminology, but anyway, she was in a state of it was even where her condition where she would just be like me talking to you and Sonia, right? And then the next day becoming like, who are you? Like, like looking at me like, who are you? Like, oh, you come to see me. Oh, hi, how are you? And I got really upset emotionally because I'm like talking to my mom, but I'm not talking to her. Like she didn't know who I was. But, the day before was perfectly fine. So I took her out for a bike ride. I rode my bike all the way down to where she was. And I had never ridden my bike all the way down to where she was. So it was, quite the journey. I put it on the front of the bus to a period of time. And then I got off on the bike rack and took it off. I needed help to do that because I hadn't done that before. So the bus driver actually helped me do that. But it was neat, right? I was riding my bike around in Fort Langley, and it was kind of neat. I was like, wow, I've never ridden my bike in Fort Langley in my life. But my mom and I went for a bike ride. So anyway, that I guess to basically make my point is that conditions can stabilize for a while. They will plateau, but they never go away. So what Sonia's gone through is unacceptable from the BC government. They need to reverse back that policy decision. They basically, Sonia's doctor called it out. Like, I haven't filled a form out in over 20 years. I mean, I would know if I had to fill out forms, to other clients in 2022. All these changes that are happening that the government is trying to find ways of saving a dollar started in 2026. So I call the bluff on it. I call that these situations that are happening now to PWD.
Smoke screen.
Yeah, exactly. And telling the ministry staff, well, just say 2022.
Yeah.
Right. So it was already a pre-existing plan that they had put in place. Going, okay, if we have economic downturn, let's execute these policies and put them in place. And that's basically what they've done. So Sonia, when I mentioned to you what the repercussion was when they deducted that off you, the $60, what did the ministry say to you on the phone so what happens next? Like, so the doctor gets the form, which you did talk about, that he now gave you the form, emailed it over to you. So now you have to go and print that out at the library because we don't have a printer here. We can't afford to buy a printer and the ink because the government doesn't give us enough money for accessibility devices. I mean, that's an accessible device. God forbid. If somebody want to opt out of a bus pass, how are they going to get to the library to print something out, right? Right. So I guess, so now what happens now? So you get the form, you print it out at the library, then what? Like, what happens?
Then I have to go to the so-called ministry office on lovely Pandora Street there.
Oh, wait for hours, yeah.
But no, I'm not going this week. I'll go next week when it's quieter.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens once you give them the form? Like what?
Then they take the form and the worker looks over it, and then they hand it to their specialized doctors that they have on hand, and they decide if I qualify for these $60 or not.
So their doctors have to make that determination. Meanwhile, your family physician has already made
like
that.
A double screen. It's a double screen. Yeah.
So then what? So then why do we even have family physicians then if the government is going to get their physicians to basically make that determination?
We don't trust your doctor.
I don't trust him.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I mean, the anxiety and stress, everyone, that the government had caused Sonia.
This is like that Charlie thing. Cause remember,
Yeah,
Charlie,
They want-
Charlie Pollock. Yeah.
yeah, they wanted their doctors to see if she could have the medicine or not, right?
right. I mean,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and the doctors had said yes, yes. We need Charlie to have this medication to sustain her life to the best quality of life that she can have. And again, this is basically what Sonia was prescribed by her GP once upon a time back in like 1999. I mean, the condition was obviously there well before she was diagnosed, but when she got diagnosed, I mean, that $35 supplement, which should have been a lot higher back then, but the government finally, over decades, decided to change it to $60. And then a slap in the face where you got the cost of living is skyrocketing. I mean, it's soaring up high. Everybody knows that everywhere in Canada and around the world. Costs don't go down, they only go up, right? And so to take money away where the government refuses to increase the rates, I mean, only by 8 cents in 6 years. Of course, the government says, well, we raised the rates 5 times. Well, okay, so let's go down memory lane quickly here. So 2017, the government got into power with the confidence and supply agreement with the BC Green Party. So John Horgan at the time, he committed that, yes, I'm going to raise the rates by $100. And he did. He fulfilled his promise. I remember talking to him, I will raise PWD rates. I said, sure you will. No, I will. He said, I promise. And he did. He promised. He said that right to me face to face. Brent, I promise you. Okay, so he went with, yes, he promised. So he did $100 in the fall of 2017. We got that increase, early fall. It was, I believe it was around the September check, which was for October. But anyway, it was in the fall of 2017. So 2018.
He basically did it as fast as he could too.
Yes.
He could have delayed it. He could have delayed it, but
but that was his first.
He rolled it out right away. Right away.
First thing that he did, and then of course we know about the bus pass fiasco. I mean, take $52 automatically by default on your check, or basically have a bus pass. You can't have both. And so they ran with that in 2018 and said, well, we raised the rates by $52. Well, you can either have a bus pass, $52, no transportation, either or. So 2019, $50 increase. 2020 came, COVID supplement. There was no rate increase from COVID from that until 2026, and there's still no rate increase in 2026. And that's where we went with that 8 cent increase, because the cents on the check was 0.42. It went to 0.50. So the government said, well, we raised the rates. Well, they gave $300. They took away $150.
So is 8 cents indexed to inflation, Brent?
Yeah, no, exactly. So they gave $300 and to better people's lives. I mean, Sonia and I were interviewed from all media, every single media station there was, newspapers. Talk about lived experience, how this would benefit us, better our lives during COVID. PPE, sanitizer. You name it, healthy eating. We could live in a better place. It was not mold or bug infested. We told our story many times on that. So the government said, okay, this is going to be good for you. Okay, great. We got a place. It wasn't the best. So we found a new place in Langley. We moved to it because we could afford it, because the government, again, the government office said 100% guarantee, we're not going to take this away. It's there. It's permanent going forward. Give it to any management company, whoever it is you're going to rent from. That's your entitlement. And that same entitlement amount then in 2020, all the way to 2026, it's the same amount, folks. Same amount. Only difference was 8 cents increase.
You've got your unicorn on the shelf today, Brent. It's basking in the sun on the shelf there.
It's basking away. It's laughing at me, going, "Oh, Brent, but the government said we raised the rates all these times." So what the government did was $300. They took it away. They were going to phase out the program. They were testing it, and it was supposed to be temporary, right? I mean, I get that. It was supposed to be temporary. But then the government realized, hey, this is actually benefiting people. It's changing their lives. They can make proper, healthy eating decisions. They can live in a more comfortable, accessible place that works best for them. They can live in the community that they want to live in. I mean, there was so many positive things, and we were so excited. Thought, wow, we're finally going to get a nice place. And Sonia was the one. Sonia, do you remember that? You're the one that came across that ad in Langley of a new place, and you said, I think we should call it. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah, so Sonia encouraged me to call. She says, I don't want to call it. You call it, Brent. So I called it. And I said, okay, well, we saw the place getting built. I mean, it's still getting built. She goes, yeah, lady's like, yeah, it's coming along. And I said, yeah, we've been watching the whole project getting built. And the security guy on site, he encouraged us to go and apply. And I said, yeah, Sonia said too. I said, I should apply. He goes, yeah. He said, you should apply. So we did. We got the place. And we went with it based on the ministry in the office saying, yeah, this is the amount going forward. The government's not going to take it away. Like once they give that, they're not going to take it away. So we based our decision on a new place. And there was another place that we were approved for. We could have got that one. And it would have been even cheaper than the place that we got. And if we had taken the other place, and we hit ourselves, Sonia talked to me about.
I keep hitting myself till this day about it, and if we would still been there to this day.
Yeah, and the other place was $1,300, and the regular.
But bottom line, it was misinformation again by the government.
Yeah, they misled. They misled again.
It was old versus newer, and I wanted newer stuff, right? So
yeah, and that's why
newer stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And even John Horgan had said, yeah, like at that, because we explained to him at the time when we met up with him, and he said, yeah, like that, I would go with the newer stuff too. He says, why not? Because
now that same place that it was at Willowbrook Drive where the new SkyTrain is going to be, now it's going for $1,800, and at the time that we were looking at it, it was
$1,300. Yeah. And the original price was $1,375. So John Horgan had said, yeah, I'd go with the new place. And I go, well, we did. He goes, good. I'm glad you did, because I mean, that's the amount, that the government's giving. And I told him what the ministry's office said, that they were going to have it permanent. He goes, well, not exactly. They're going to be phasing it out. But he says, I promise that it'll stay at 150 or plus 25. So again, that's what they did. So everybody, it was $300 COVID supplement. Then they were going to phase it completely out. We advocated hard. We pushed the government. John Horgan pushed his own government to basically, he wanted it to be in place at $300, because I mean, we based our accommodation and cost of living based on that information that we were promised from the local office. And a lot of people they made their decisions based on that information. So they basically left it at 150. They phased it down. Our corporate manager was yelling and screaming at me because she rented to us based on what we told them that was what was said. And she said, well, you should have just taken the other place then if you figured they were going to claw that off you. I go, well, they weren't going to claw it off because we were told that's what they were going to do, keep it permanent. So the language that came out of her mouth, and she apologized for swearing at me, my manager. Sonia didn't, she just didn't want to be there listening to the manager yelling and screaming at me. I took the brunt. And again, that's why I decided at that point of time that I needed to do a podcast going forward. In future time, I kept that in the back of my mind. And I thought, well, these problems are existing, and they're going to escalate more. And so when the government gave that $25 back, so they gave the 175 of the 300 back in 2021. So in 2023, they gave back 125 to some PWD and market housing, only if your rent actually went up. If you were lucky that your corporate manager, or maybe you're renting a basement suite, and maybe the property owner said, you know what, I'm not going to raise your rates because the government's not raising your rates, so I'm going to, keep your rent at $375 at the time, because that's what the shelter was. Then they didn't get that 125. Or people in BC housing, they didn't get that rate increase. So again, the same amount from 2020 to 2026 is still the same amount. Cost of living has gone up.
8 cents.
Yeah, and 8 cents. And our rates haven't been tied to the cost of living.
Brent, I can get going.
Okay.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I was gonna mention that actually we should wrap up.
Yeah. I have to change my Dexcom's G7 sensor. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna start beeping at me.
But everybody, with these government's decisions, it affects people's lives in such a negative way. These policies, as you've heard Sonia's story, her anxiety was up. I mean, she was feeling nauseated. Her tummy was in knots. Not able to get a hold of ministry, not knowing why this happened, and then just to be told, "Oh, you gotta reapply," and then their doctor having a conniption saying, "I haven't filled these forms out over 20 years. Like, what is this BS?" You know what I mean? Like you're causing friction. Just redo these policies right back the way it was. Like there was no need to change anything. Show respect for people with disabilities going forward. And just a little FYI, we're going to be.
Oh, here's my message to David Eby: raise the rates now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's no excuse not to
No
raise.
more excuses now.
Yeah, no more excuses. And I really encourage everybody, when you see this message on social media, when you see the link here, I want you to retweet it. I want you to quote tweet it. I want you to pass the message on.
Blast it out there, yeah.
Yeah, blast it out there. Share it with your friends, your family, your caregivers, your doctors, your nurses, practitioners, everybody. I want you to spread this video. I want you to pump it out there on social media and contact your local MLA, whoever is your local MLA is in BC. If you're in another province and you are affected by this message, let your members of parliament know that it's not okay and what BC is doing for people with disabilities. Let them know. Tell them to put pressure on our politicians and David Eby in British Columbia. It's not a good look on a province that claims, "Oh, we're leading the country economically." Enough is enough. There's going to be upcoming rallies that are going to be happening, so stay tuned on that.
Just a bit of housekeeping too, Brent.
Yep.
Our next podcast will be on Monday, but then after Monday we have Easter break. We have Good Friday and then also Easter Monday coming up. So there won't be any shows on the Good Friday or the Easter Monday. So we'll basically be taking a full week off.
Yeah.
And we'll repeat that message again on our next podcast on Monday. But expect that break because we got Good Friday and Easter Monday coming up.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you, Neil, for sharing that to me and also to our listeners and our viewers that are watching live. I really encourage everybody to tune in to our next podcast. Also, I want to thank Sonia for taking the time for coming on today and sharing her story of the impacts of government's poor policy decisions. You claim that you listen to advocates with lived experience. Well, you're not listening, obviously. So again, we're going to amplify our message out loud and clear. We're going to show our presence in the BC legislature more and more and more.
1 minute.
And expect
No, 1 minute.
Members of the opposition are going to be welcoming us into the House. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's going to happen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. If you are fortunate enough that you can help us out on the channel to help the channel grow, please look at the links down below, and you'll see all the detail. The email addresses are there, contact information. And again, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Sonia, for coming on. Stay tuned. Sonia will be on again in the near future. Advocacy never takes a break. It's a continuous goal to put pressure on the government to do the right thing, and you will do the right thing. And now it's 11. Sonia gave the hint. 11:11. That means it's time, everybody, for us to punch out.
We're gonna punch out
at 11:11. Yes, there we are. Thank you, everyone. Take care, and
cheers, everyone.
And have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.